Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again in this YouTube segment, not astrological segment. I'll be talking about various things, basically about love, life, and being alone on the holidays. And first thing I want to do is wish you guys and gals out there, happy 4th of July. Try to commemorate it for the right reasons. It shouldn't be about just being loud, boisterous, rancorous, or what have you. Just shooting off fireworks for the sake of raising hell and making noise, and celebrate for the right reason, the birth of our country, and you know, say it's the land of the free. I mean, we know really there's nothing really free about here. You got to pay for your freedom. I think most of us know that, though. I wanted to state is first of all about love. Thing is, there was a recent situation I had sad. It ended kind of sadly. I do have Scorpio, the sign of death and endings, on my seventh house cusp of relationships, and at the 22nd degree, which is a critical degree in astrology, really doesn't help things. Also have one of the rulers of that, Mars, in my third house. The third house corresponds with Mercurial Gemini, so a lot of my relationships are not what you would call overly sustained. Moon in Gemini doesn't help matters either. But what I wanted to state was, in the recent situation, it was sad because, you know, there was somebody I had gotten, too close with to a certain degree, female, and she, looks like it's not, going to work out. What I recently, discussed with the person is that, I wasn't ready at this point in time to have, be, to have, to feel like I didn't have the romantic feelings for the person, for the lady at this point in time. I said they may evolve at some point in time, though, when I would actually go and meet her. And I've met her physically before, but when it would be more convenient for me to come out to where she would be at and actually see her more in person, and through the in-person interaction make the determination at some point whether I would have the feelings that would evolve or not. I would know whether I would feel more romantically connected with her. And I think there may have been some miscommunication on that, because the impression I got was something where where she may have felt that something would never happen, that it would be 100% chance that nothing would happen in terms of escalating upon a friendship with her. And that was entirely not the case. It was just the simple fact that at this point in time I didn't have romantic feelings for her. And if she sees this video, I hope I hope she sees it and understands. The clarification is very significant, very important, because I think sometimes things can get misconstrued. Sometimes things are ambiguous. I felt I stated what I'd stated very in a clear, lucid, perspicacious manner. But sometimes even so, people, whether it is they may block out something that was said, subconsciously, or whatever it might have been. But the point being is, having Saturn square my Venus doesn't help matters. I mean, I've had a lot of disappointments in things that may have had potential for a stronger connection, and in whatever it might be. But I just want to say, this experience taught me something about, making sure things are lucid, that they're clear, that they're readily understood, because, people that, as far as, love, actual romantic connections go, there may not be, considering, my age right now, the fact I turned 54 recently. People got to understand these things don't come very often, and considering my age, there may not be many opportunities left, but at the same time, I'm not going to be someone that pretends to feel something when I don't. I'm a very real person. It hurts people sometimes. I'm the kind of person where I can say, okay, I may be sorry if what I had stated may have hurt you, but not really sorry for what I said, because I am, what you call a very veracious and honest person. And sometimes it can be hurtful, what I say. If I don't feel a certain way for a woman at a certain time, I mean, I would rather say plainly that I don't, rather than lead a person on and have them misconstrue my intentions or what have you. I feel it's better to be honest about things like that as opposed to not. And anyway, but that being said, for people out there though, you know um that are in a process maybe of getting involved with somebody, or that hasn't quite reached to fruition, just make sure, that you're true to your feelings. And, if you really don't feel the same way, it's important to let the other person know sooner than later to prevent um, the hurt, and let them know, like in my case as an example, if you feel something might escalate later on, and would you ask the person, would you be willing to give it more time? Because I understand, some people want to move a little faster. I'm a Taurus ascendant. I got Saturn conjunct my ascendant. I'm very methodical with things. I don't really always move as quickly with things, and whether it's mobility, literal movements, mobility, or whether it's a decision-making process or what have you. And those are things I need people to have to know that. And now, and the thing I want to get at next is, as far as life goes in general. Life, people will tell me, well, life is what you make of it. Um, Life is not the same for everybody. Not everybody has the same, set of circumstances and conditions. And when people say that, what bothers me about the statement is because it's a very flat, basic statement. And there's so many nuances that you've got to look at in every individual. Everybody's life situation is different. Not everybody has the same exact, precise opportunities laid out for them. You take, like in my case, somebody with irrevocable nerve damage, at least at this point in time, it appears to be incurable, because the last time I had the test on nerve conduction test, they couldn't detect anything. And the thing is, a lot of times those tests will not detect something even when you have something. It doesn't mean that you didn't have the nerve damage or problem. It just means that the testing did not pick up on the issue. But I need to get probably another one, because it was like 14 years ago when I had my last one, and maybe now the testing may be more advanced, more sophisticated, innovative, where they could actually detect something in that. But the thing about it is, some of you may know, but those of you that don't, the extensive nerve damage I have causes limitations in terms of participating in vigorous sports activities, and also heavy strenuous lifting, even repetitive activities and motions. And that that really prohibits you big time. There's really not a lot I can do. I used to love to go out and play basketball, just shoot baskets even by myself, and I can't even do that because the repetitive motion. When I shoot, what happened was, the last time I did this was back in like 2006. And I went to the basketball court maybe 2 or 3 times, and then after that second or third time or whatever, I started getting like a tug sensation in my it was in my right elbow, my shooting hand, because I'm right-handed. And I knew at that point in time I was really done. I mean, at that point I knew there was going to be very little I was going to be able to do anymore. Even when I tried to cut, like, I don't know if it was a piece of pancake or a sausage for breakfast, around that same general time period, I felt the tug sensation in my elbow just doing that because I had exacerbated the problem from when I was shooting baskets. And when that happened, I just knew that there wasn't going to be that much physically I was going to be able to attain or do anymore. And so it's important when when if you're gonna say, well, to somebody, well, life is about what you make of it. We create our own future. We create our own destiny. It's not entirely 100% true. There's things in life that we don't plan on. People get involved in accidents. It could even be whether it's just a basic car accident. It can be even somebody getting stuck in a compactor somewhere. I mean, there are the bizarre type accidents that do happen. And the thing too is, and now last but not least, I just want to get to as far as being like alone on the holidays, and I believe I've stated this before in other videos and such. But what's really bad about my situation is the fact that my birthday fell on July 1st, and of course 4th of July is 3 days later, so it's like a double whammy for me. On my birthday, there was really there was no celebration. There was nobody, that came out, to see me, of course, per usual. And, the thing is, I think a lot of people don't know it's my birthday, but, it's interesting because I mean, I understand I don't really know many people that well in my own community, but on YouTube, I don't know the exact number, but I think I got around 29,000 subscribers. I have about 170 friends on Facebook. There's a number of people that do know me to on some level, but it's a shame that, like with me, I don't know if it's my Saturn on the ascendant plays a role in this, maybe my personality, or not maybe, I know my personality is inhibited to some degree, but it just seems like, it's almost like it's too much of, unpopularity to an extreme where I should at least have a few people that are willing to come out and see me on my birthday, and it never doesn't happen for me for whatever reason. And the thing is, and again, going back to what I was saying before about I have the double whammy. Elaborate and expound on that. Again, my birthday July 1st, of course 4th of July. Independence Day is 3 days after that, so there's loneliness experienced on days that are 3 days apart from each other. That's the only thing I really don't like about my birthday is the fact that it's so close to a major holiday. I wish it would have been at least maybe 2 weeks or so before it, so I wouldn't have to feel despondency back to back. But what I have done is people will probably tell me, say, Edwin, you need to create your own happiness. It's funny because those same people won't take the time to come out and see me. Now, I understand. I know a lot of the people that see my videos are not even in the country yet. But I know there's a lot of people that are in my country that could know me, that could get to know me. Somebody had stated to me one time, I had asked if she wanted to come out to visit me. She told me that she didn't think it was a good idea because she didn't really know me. She only knew me in the videos. Well, I understand, like when you see somebody in the videos, right? It's like really superficial level. But here's the thing with me, though. A lot of you know I've been doing astrology videos for almost 12 years now, right? September 26th of this year will mark 12 years for me of doing YouTube astrology videos. Now the thing is, you see me doing these like on a day-to-day basis, right? I mean, if somebody were to come out and see me, there would be no reason for me to be any threat to the person, to commit anything, to do anything harmful to the person, because why would I jeopardize my credibility and reputation on here? It just wouldn't make any sense, but people don't look at it like that. I mean, I understand nothing's 100%, but I think the percentages say that I'm, kind of person that would not do anything to somebody. If they took that time out to see me, I would not want to do anything to tarnish my reputation. I've gone, for me, I'm already having some struggles as far as YouTube goes. I mean, I do believe I'm likely being shadow banned on YouTube. I had at least 2 people tell me that my videos on YouTube are shadow banned. Now, I don't know that 100%. I think YouTube has been denying these things vehemently when people have, made statements about it, but it looks like that's what's probably happening. I don't know that 100%, but anyway, that's what I really wanted to get at. And it's just a shame you have so many people that will offer advice. They'll say, oh, why don't you go out and mingle, Edwin? Like a 54-year-old man has a real overabundance of places to go out and mingle, when those same people won't take the time to actually say, Eddie, I'm going to integrate you. I'm going to be in your life, and it just shows that, people can say they care and this and that, but when I look at the overall picture, right? If somebody had to venture and guess how many birthday cards did I even get on July 1st, my birthday? Well, answer, I actually got one. I got, maybe, if you want to count like a PayPal donation, and somebody helped, they paid for my food one day at Kroger on my birthday. So I got maybe 3, maybe 4 gifts total. I mean, beggars can't be choosers. But when you're on this planet for 54 years, not to be indignant and say, well, why does this person get more than me and this and that? But still, it would have been nice to get a little bit more. I am 54 years old, and there's really, there's not an overabundance to show for it. There's not a lot to jump up and down about. And the thing is, as the days progress, things get even worse and worse for me in terms of despondency, because, I look at it as a slap in the face a little bit, because, here I am, right, I'm an older person now. And as time progresses, popularity never really increases with me, and people just, it's almost like, they look for reasons to abstain from a connection, to have a friendship. I think what's happened with society collectively, it's kind of like, like when you go on a job interview, people look for reasons often not to hire you. They're going to look at that first, and I think it comes into play in terms of friendships, relationships. People will look for reasons to not become involved, and that's part of the problem. Instead of looking at the positive aspects in something, a lot of it is very negative. And right now, I think what's happened is we're at more of a social disconnect. Partly because of COVID. Some of it's attributed to being dominated by the social media era too, which really doesn't help matters. And the thing is too, it doesn't help at this point in time. Being alone on, not just being alone on the holidays, but when you don't have anything else hardly going for you. You just have, I have my life, I have subsistence and survival right now. I hardly have any people in it. The fundraisers have not been exactly, doing tremendously well. I'm paying an exorbitant rate for where I gotta stay. I can't get, there's been very little help in terms of me, being able to extricate myself from the current living situation I'm in. There's not much going on with the chart readings at this point in time, but at the same time, I know I have to be strong. I got no choice. It's either jump off a cliff or continue to persevere and survive. I prefer the latter. I don't want to be defeated. At the same time, I do understand why people do jump off cliffs, so to speak, sometimes literally, because life takes a beating on them. And people, see, when people do things like that, and it's funny, there's a misconception in that. The reason why people do that, it's not because they really wanted to leave the mundane plane, our planet Earth. It's because they looked at that as being something that was better for them, as opposed to enduring the negativity. that they were dealing with in life. Some of you may remember what the Amanda Todd, was a famous case with the word is infamous, but anyway, it was a suicide that garnered a lot of notoriety and recognition. I did a video on it. Some of you may remember. And the thing was, I felt like with her, it was just that, she just didn't have any. She felt like something reached a point where she just couldn't take, what was happening anymore in her life. And it's terrible that had to happen. That people have to often be cruel to others and, put somebody in a state of mind where they become, very despondent, negative, and pessimistic, that they don't feel there's any other recourse or way out. But there is, and really, in what you do is you just have to stay the course and be strong, and that's what I intend to do. This year is going to go down, might go down as one of my worst years ever, because it appears that I've lost somebody that, may have had potential for a stronger connection later on. And I also had, a friend that I was helping out, like a few transits in her chart here and there, and we've disconnected. And it's happened, all this has happened in like, a 3-week time frame or so. The thing is, it's one thing if you get things one at a time, right? One dilemma, one at a time, one negative in your life, then maybe 4 or 5 months later, something else. But when you have them so close, it becomes a little bit hard to deal with, but you have to deal with it just the same. Anyway, people, that will be it for this YouTube segment. Again, have a happy, safe 4th of July. Until next time, stay well.